Protocol and the Paris Agreement. And first of all, I will talk about something about UNFCCC. It was effective in March 21st, 1994. It has 165 signatories. It has location in New York City, New York, US. It was drafted in May 9th, 1992. The condition is ratification by 50 states. And as for Zimbabwe's signature on UNFCCC in June 12, 1992. Zimbabwe date of ratification in UNFCCC in November 3, 1992. Zimbabwe date of entry into force in UNFCCC in March 21st, in 1994. In 1996, Zimbabwe participated a two-year regional for country capacity building project with the assistance of UNDP, GEF. The main objective was to enable Mali, Ghana, Kenya, and Zimbabwe to meet their obligations under UNFCCC. And second, being a party of the UNFCCC, it is in the long-term interest of Zimbabwe to get on board and take measures that will help it meet its obligations in the convention. As for the instances for political platform, Southern Center for Energy and Environment in the Zimbabwe-based non-profit research facilities established in 1992 to investigate the responses on climate change phenomena and sustainable energy management. And the other one is Zimbabwe's president signed a Paris Agreement, and he claimed that we aim to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 33% below the projected business as usual energy emissions per capita by 2020. As for watershed moments, even though the Kyoto Protocol has not yet entered into force, the CDM could become an interesting instrument for Zimbabwe's future environmental investments. Second, the CDM may not only lead to modernization of existing capital stock for energy production and consumption, but could also generate a financial surplus for Zimbabwe in the form of additional financial flows based on the CER opportunities. And third, Zimbabwe will like to benefit from Article 12 of the Kyoto Protocol by participating in project activities that fall under the framework of the CDM. And fourth, the CDM has the potential to bring international investments to developing countries. And the final one, by mid-1998, there were 3 AIJ projects in Africa: the Dutch Forest Protection Project in Uganda, the Norwegian Fieldwood Project in Burkina Faso, and the E7 hydroelectric project in Zimbabwe. What about connections? Zimbabwe is a country with extreme drought conditions, power shortages, and hunger. Basically, these problems have tight or indirect relationships with climate change. Zimbabwe experienced hyperinflation in currency in the late 20th century, and then causing some hunger problems due to the extremely low purchasing power and nearly no flow rate of currency. And then some smallholder farmers in Gaza influenced from the climate change. Moreover, cotton farmers in Cockwick district, the yield of cotton get impacted a lot. Due to all the choices that Zimbabwe experienced in the climate change, it decided to join the UNFCCC and the Kyoto Protocol to reduce the effects that climate change brought to domestic residents. Finally, owing to the international cooperation and more scientific methods to allocate each nation's responsibilities in the improvements of climate change. And here is 2 pages of citations. For the final project, I did the recommendations. First, improvements in some domestic facilities. And second, highly concentrations in the UNFCCC and the Kyoto Protocol. Third, upgrading Zimbabwe's housing structures and the materials. Fourth, educations and propagandas. Fifth, artificial precipitation. Sixth, cooperation for neighbor countries. 7. Adaptation to local conditions to develop countries. 8. Try to introduce some method to stabilize the yields for crops and fruits. 9. Controlling emissions. 10. Government needs to contribute a portion of expenditure to support dry areas. And next, I did a cost-benefit analysis through the costs and the benefits. First of all, I will do the costs part. First one is, some of the recommendations require high amount of capital support, such like the government expenditures, educations, and propagandas, etc. Second, due to the upgrading quality of shelters, the upcoming generation will ignore their previous impoverished lives and become more lazy and enjoyable. Third, natural landscapes will be altered a little bit due to government and residents' interference. Fourth, it is necessary to cultivate a group of specialized people to focus on climate change research. Fifth, climate change related problems supposed to be long-term welfare. Sixth, immigration might be increasing due to the continuous development of Zimbabwe. 7. Spell of unemployment. Because of the gentrification of some poor quality houses and newly developed facilities, a group of original workers will experience unemployment in a section of time. As for benefits, the first one, the next generation possesses higher standard of living. Second, they can be more open-minded to consider some human and climate-related questions. Third, overall literacy level in Zimbabwe can be raised. More and more children have access to take higher level education. Fourth, cultivation of interactions among foreign countries. It will result in the increasing influence globally. Fifth, improvements of the efficiency in agricultural production. Sixth, teenagers and young people have chances to study abroad to obtain some advanced concepts and knowledge. Seventh, as for the long-term point of view, Zimbabweans will live under a relative environmental-friendly society. Eighth, since the global status gets promoted, more and more countries will focus on Zimbabwe. Therefore, tourism, exports economy can be driven. As for theory of justice, the first one, Justice for Agriculture, abbreviated into JAG, is a group of concerned Zimbabweans with a mission to secure justice, peace, and freedom for the agricultural sector. Its contribution to Zimbabwe economy is presently under attack, which has led to displacement of expertise, causing poverty and starvation. JAG incorporates the interests of commercial farm workers, as well as agricultural auxiliary industry and their employees. Second, this group really confirms the recommendation of stabilizing the yield of crops and production of fruits. JAG ensures specific rights for farmers, and usually farmers can be the most direct sponsor to the agricultural outputs. JAG's formation can be regarded as a successful step for Zimbabwe's agriculture. Concerns. As for women, they might be affected in the part of educations and propagandas. Zimbabwe is a country that maintaining the original concept that the only thing women need to do is houseworking. Therefore, the encouragement in education part will provide lots of opportunities for male, but women cannot. As for indigenous people in Zimbabwe, they cannot be involved into the improvement of some infrastructures and national facilities. In other words, they have no access to enjoy the brand new establishments. As for some poor people in Zimbabwe, it is quite hard for them to gentrify houses due to their limited skills and knowledge. Even government offers the raw materials. Here is the 5 creative approaches that I made. Finally, I made 2 pages citations. And thanks. This is all my presentation.